Before we get started, if you enjoy the show and would like to support us, we have just two things we would like you to check out. Please head to our YouTube channel and subscribe to the show. Our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers, so we need all the help we can get.
And if you would like to take your support to the next level and get early access to the show, you can come and join us on Patreon. You'll even get a shout out at the end of the episodes. Links to both will be in the show notes.
Right then, Cam, let's get on with the show.
Here we go, Mark. Headlong and fast into the new year. Does that make
Yes,
sense?
absolutely. Did you have a good Christmas? Was it all good?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. What was quite good was I met up with a few different sort of family and friends, so I had various things going on. But yeah, it was all really good. How about yourself?
Yeah, same as really. It was the in-laws this year because I tend to alternate between my folks and Nat's folks. Got to see a few friends. Got some friends coming soon for New Year's, that should be all good.
I think there's a lot of unnecessary pressure on people, isn't there, at Christmas? I'm fortunate that I have got family and friends and meet up with different people, in the lead up to Christmas, over Christmas, and then Christmas, New Year period. But there are a lot of people that, do have time on their own. I just do sometimes think that it just adds a lot of stress and pressure to a lot of people. But
I'm glad I don't have to do any more Christmas shopping. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, there is that. Okay, right. So lots of presents have been bought. Okay, lots of new cameras have been bought, no doubt. Yeah, lots of lenses, camera bags. We love a good camera bag.
I know you do.
That reminds me, I have to go out and buy a new laptop bag. My Samsonite, my trusty Samsonite, is now. I think I've been packing too much stuff in there. It's coming apart at the bottom, and so I need to look up a high quality laptop bag that will take.
Well, let me know what you find because I need one as well. So
right, okay, it will need to take a 17-inch laptop bag. Although I am thinking of changing to a Mac, which is a slightly smaller screen. Mac's largest screen is it 16-inch?
16-inch, I think it is. Yeah, they used to do a 17, but they don't do that anymore. But
no,
it's a better computer. So.
Now, this leads nicely, and it wasn't intentional, to the first thing that we wanted to talk about, Mark.
Yeah.
And that is to do with about monitors for color correcting and balancing, color balancing, that type of thing.
Mm.
And this is hugely important. And I see this a lot with students in that we go out and we buy a laptop, or we go out and buy a PC or a Mac, and we buy it and we look at the spec and we think, okay, it's got so much memory and RAM and and all of that type of thing, and it looks cool, and we look at those. But a lot of people don't pay any attention to screen quality, and when it comes to, as photographers and videographers, the screen that we use is absolutely crucial. So if you go out and buy a laptop for £350 and it's got a certain spec, you can go and buy the same laptop you can buy a similar laptop with the same spec, but it can be £2,500.
Yeah.
Now, some people are thinking, well, why am I going to spend that much? I'm just going to go for the cheaper option. It's got the same spec, same RAM, same memory, whatever. But it's a screen, is a huge part of it.
But there's lots of things. It's not just the screen, of course. I mean, the main thing is the screen res.
That's right. Yeah,
quality. It's not just the resolution, is it? It's the quality of it as well.
It's everything about the screen. We go out and buy a new camera, and we buy the best camera that we can afford. And let's just say, for argument's sake, someone's bought a Nikon Z7 for Christmas, or they've had one bought for them. Be very fortunate, okay, in a Z7 or a Nikon Z50, or whatever camera, and they've got go out and they've got a lovely camera, lovely lens, and what they do is they get home and they connect their laptop up to their TV. And what they do is they look at the pictures they've shot from their camera on their TV, It could be a Samsung TV, it could be an LG TV, it could be a Sony TV, whatever. Those monitors are not designed, TV monitors are not designed for looking at photos from a professional point of view, for editing purposes, shall we say. Right. They're great to get up on screen and have a flick through your photos, but you can't use those screens for editing. So if you're one of these people that connects your laptop or your computer monitor to your big TV that you just use for watching TV at home and everything, it's the wrong thing to do if you're looking to edit your photos and you want really good color balance and exposure and you want accuracy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just purely just for editing purposes we're talking about. I mean, I link photos to a TV all the time. That's how I show my clients my work. And that's fine. But we're really talking about the editing. I mean, I don't know anyone who does that, by the way, Cam. But
well, it's fine. I don't know any professionals, because professionals they do know about that. However, there are a lot of people that just do it anyway. I know a lot of videographers do it. They're sitting there with their laptop and they have this massive screen right over to one side, and it's just a normal TV monitor. And the color balances are very inaccurate on a normal TV monitor. Now, the reason why I bring this up also is because there's a new monitor which is called the KTC A32Q8, to give it its full reference, and it's a 31.5 inch monitor. And it's been designed to double up as a large monitor or a medium-sized TV. Okay, 4K VA panel. It's very thin and comes with a stand and everything. And it's been designed specifically for this reason. Okay, and on the sort of stories that I've been looking at, it says, imagine you're editing your photos and you feel like you need a break. What if all it took was one press of a button to switch to some entertaining content on your work desk? So there you are, and then you click and you're watching normal TV. Okay, and then you can click back again and go back into Lightroom or Photoshop or Premiere if you're doing video, and continue with your editing. And with this monitor, you can put together a color calibration corrections to it. And basically a color calibration kit is something that assesses and helps you set the correct color balance on your monitor.
Which you can't do on Macs, just to point that one out.
Oh, can you not?
No.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Mac suggests you don't need to.
You don't need to. Yeah, no. And that's one of the reasons why you spend a lot of money on or why you think in the first instance, why am I spending so much money on a Mac? I can get something so much cheaper with the same spec. Yeah. Well, there's one of the reasons why it comes in. Now, it's the actual monitor itself is, I've not actually used it, but I'm just reading through a couple of sites where I've come across this, and it's got sort of mixed reviews. It's a great sort of entertainment display. It's convenient the way that it is, and it's perfect for hanging on the wall or for sitting on a desk. So they've thought about the size where it's really good for color correcting, for editing in general. Now, the thing is when it comes to color balances, this TV talks a lot about, about color accuracy and all of that, and the blues and the greens and everything. But I think it's really important to identify and learn about colors first before you start to try and correct things. A lot of people don't know about colors. I spent my first years in photography working in darkroom, so I learnt about color printing. That's where I learnt color balances, and I can identify color balancing really well I would actually say to a really high level. Spent a long time doing that. You have your opposites and colors. You have your yellows and your blues, your magenta and your greens, your cyans and your reds and everything. And those are important things to learn. And I know that I've done this with students where we've got a TV in a room that we use for the teaching, and it's just a normal Samsung TV. And then I've got a really high quality laptop, great quality screen, expensive laptop, and it does the job brilliantly. And when you compare the image on my laptop compared to the image that's up on this Samsung TV, which is probably about a 40-inch screen, and I show it to students, they're shocked at the difference. And how there is no color on the TV image, there's no detail in the image, it's overexposed or it's underexposed, and they're shocked, and they suddenly start to realize just in that one moment why having a really good monitor to correct your images or your videos is crucial. It's no good buying a really expensive camera, a really good lens, if when you download your images and you look at them on a cheap monitor or on a TV screen. That's really what I wanted to talk about. Right?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, and that's what this product is kind of sort of
it's trying to
stoke that thing. But what I'll just say, if I may, Cam, I don't really understand the need for this product.
I think it's
because the reason I say that is because you can watch TV through your Mac anyway.
I was thinking that because when it says, imagine, from one click of a button to next, you do that anyway. I do it, anyway.
And I'll be honest, where I edit, I do have a TV in the same room anyway, so I could just turn my chair. I mean, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And the headline on this is can this dual-purpose smart TV monitor be the key to your work-life balance? So your work-life balance is you're editing and then you're watching TV. You're editing and then you're watching TV. Yeah. It's not really a work-life balance, is it? You know what they're trying to, So I think what it is people that have got laptops just want to be able to see their pictures up bigger on up big on a screen. Yeah, we're so used to big TVs now in houses and whatever, and I think that's all it is. But they've designed it as a balance for something to go up on a wall and something that can sit comfortably on your desktop as well. I mean, actually, it's here's why I'm not here's why I'm not convinced about it though. It's $300. Okay. Yeah. And that's, to me, that's very, very, very cheap.
Yeah.
Right. A $300 monitor or $300 TV is very cheap. Somebody said to me, do you want to buy a computer monitor? It's $300, £300. I'd be thinking, no, that's not going to be good quality at all. Right. I've not used it, so I can't comment on this. However, it's not something I'd be rushing out to go and to look at.
Well, I did notice at the bottom of this article, and it is an F-Stops article, by the way. It's just kind of our inspiration for this, but it said what I liked. The large 32-inch 4K screen, monitor doubles up as a smart TV, multiple convenience features. What can be improved? Better color coverage and color accuracy standards. Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're buying it. That's the only reason why you would buy it. This monitor doubles as a smart TV. That's what they liked about it. But every monitor doubles as a smart TV, really, doesn't it? Or not every monitor, but every TV. I like reading sort of reader comments on this. Someone says, so I've not actually read this. I will read it out. It says, I use my 65-inch OLED TV, which is a Samsung. I don't use it for editing, which is good. I don't use it for editing. What I do is if I'm going to sell a print to a customer, I transfer it over to my TV. I have a USB port dongle that sticks out the side of it and a HDMI port as well, and I can simply plug my MacBook into my TV. The new OLED TVs are amazing. Yes, they are. You can pretty much use them as a monitor. I'll take his word for it, but this is a good idea, and the monitors are amazing now.
Not for editing.
Not really for editing. That's right. Yeah, they're great.
He was quite.
He's got his MacBook, isn't he?
Clear about that.
So he edits on his MacBook, gets a correct color balance, and then he can put it onto his TV for viewing. Yeah. That's great. That's nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. That's what I do. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's so basically, I think what we're looking at is something of nothing, really, aren't we?
Yeah, we just talked about nothing for about half an hour.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Let's move on then.
Let's move on. Okay, you've got something about a photographer, haven't you?
A bit of sad news. And I really hope I pronounce, I'm rubbish at pronunciations, as you guys probably know, but legendary fashion photographer Gian Paolo Barbieri dies at 89 now. He was considered to be one of Italy's greatest fashion photographers. He's behind the first ever Vogue Italia cover. And he has died fighting a long illness, which is a shame. But definitely check out his work because it's some stunning work. I'm sure you'll be able to find it on the net. But he was best known for iconic advertising campaigns for Valentino, Armani, Dolce & Gabbana. Barbieri is also a regular photographer for Vogue Italia, Vogue America, Vogue Paris, and Vogue Germany. During his career, he shot portraits of stars such as Audrey Hepburn, Sophia Loren, Naomi Campbell, and Monica Bellucci. One of the most iconic images is a black and white photo of Italian actress Bellucci smoking a cigarette in a sheer Dolce & Gabbana dress. It was born in Italy in 1935. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. He also, just to sort of finish off on that, Mark, he also had his foundation as well, where he used it to promote photographic culture, supporting young talents, and to preserve the value of photography as both testimony and artistic expression. And the Gianpaolo Barbieri Foundation will continue to carry forward his mission, honouring the memory and work of an artist who immortalised the essence of his subject. The foundation says in its statement, it says, "Goodbye, Gianpaolo. Your art will continue to inspire the world."
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Now, we have got some photography rumours. Now, we don't know if any of these are true. They are just rumours.
Well, there's some announcements which are true, I think. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's some announcements. Yes, we have got some announcements. Okay, so Panasonic Lumix S99. It says, this is very interesting. It says, in defiance of the dominance of smartphones, Panasonic has introduced a point-and-shoot camera. And it says, it goes on to say, it gives its spec 20.3 megapixels, 20.3 megapixels, 1.23 inch sensors feature, shoots JPEG and RAW, you'd expect. It's got video recording capabilities. And it says the camera's 3-inch display can be tilted to a selfie position, and it retails at about sort of £450, something like that. Now, what's interesting is in defiance of the dominance of smartphones.
Yeah.
So what are they offering that, I mean, it's just better, is this the way camera manufacturers are now looking? Are they now looking at, we've got to come up with something that competes with a smartphone? And are they really pushing that idea? Should they not just be saying, this is not a smartphone, this is a camera? In other words, separate themselves from that. And rather than saying, look, we've got something here that's going to compete with it, because immediately I'd be thinking, well, I'll probably go and get the latest iPhone or something, or the latest Samsung phone.
Yeah, it's a toughie, really. Depends what you're going to use it for. If you're going on a night out, you wouldn't take it with you, whereas you used to do back in the days, If you're going on holiday, you might take it. But it just depends on how into photography you are. I think the market has shrunk so much because of smartphones. Your casual users will take their smartphone. They won't want to take another camera. Whereas someone who's a bit more enthusiastic about photography might get a camera like this. It's
that's right.
The market has shrunk. So
I wouldn't say it's a particularly sexy camera. There's nothing. I mean, looking at it, it looks quite old-fashioned, actually. And by old-fashioned, I wouldn't even use the word retro. When you say retro is quite cool. I'm not convinced.
No.
But anyway.
Okay.
And then Panasonic Lumix G97 with a 12 to 60 millimeter f3.5 to 5.6 lens. It says a minor evolutionary upgrade to the Lumix G95 from 2019. This refreshed model differs primarily in two key areas: has a higher resolution rear display and updated connectivity features. Now, this is one of the things we were saying, weren't we, Mark?
Yeah, too many models.
Too many models, too many upgrades, just to hold fire, So there are a couple of recent announcements, but we've got some rumours.
Well, before you got to the rumours, there's something here which I found quite interesting. There's the Laowa 55mm f2.8 and the Laowa 100mm f2.8 tilt shift 1x macro. Tilt shift lenses are great fun. I really like them. Fully manual tilt shift macro lens siblings for full frame mirrorless cameras. Both lenses offer the tilt range of plus or minus 10 degrees and a shift range of plus or minus 12 mil. and a 1:1 magnification ratio. For a closer look, you can check out their channel. They got a YouTube channel, you can check them out. So that's a lower YouTube channel. And yeah, due to the complex construction materials used, lenses weigh reasonably heavy. So it's 1,345 grams and 1,215 grams respectively. To accommodate this, both lenses have come with their own Arca Swiss compatible tripod foot. So yeah, available for the Sony E, Nikon Z, Canon RF. Oh, Canon RF have allowed it. Okay, that's cool. The Leica L, so you'd be interested in that, Cam. And also the medium format Fuji GFX mounts as well. Both at 55 and 100 mil. Oh,
interesting stuff.
They're about $1,200 each.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, rumors. Okay. So Canon EOS R6 Mark III. Okay.
Mark III already?
Because we're currently on the Mark II, and they're bringing out the Mark III, and everyone's still thinking, should I be changing to the Mark II from the Mark I? And suddenly the Mark III. It says the first quarter of 2025 is expected to bring the third generation of the popular EOS R6 series. Why we need a Mark III so quickly is beyond me. It says the resolution is expected to stay where it is, namely at 24 megapixels. So it says, what new features will the Mark III bring? This is the first novelty. There's bells ringing. This is the first novelty, right? It sets alarm bells ringing. It's expected to be a new flip tilt screen similar to Panasonic and Sony.
Okay, you're not going to like that, are you?
Well, it says the current R6 design allows the screen to rotate only after being flipped to the side of the camera body. Now, this is good for people shooting video. I do like it on. I thought the R6 did that anyway. It gives everything that I need it to do.
Yeah, but you have to pull it out. So it's not like the Sony ones where you just lift it up.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. Yeah. I like that flip tilt. But yes. In fact, I do like that because it saves you having to fold the screen out, doesn't it? And then.
Yeah. So what I like about the current design of it is that if you're taking a really low shot, you can just flip the screen and say it's portrait. You can flip the screen and use it like that. Which I mean, if I'm reading this correctly, if I understand this correctly, you won't be able to do that with the Mark III. Yeah,
that's interesting. So yeah, I think I would probably prefer what's on the Mark I and the Mark II.
Yeah, they do give a reason though, don't they? It's to do with the. It's not something that I've actually mentioned, not actually come across really, but yeah, they say that the current design is not ideal with using an L bracket. Well, I haven't used an L bracket, I have to say, so I don't really know about that.
So this is another interesting innovation. Is expected to be Canon's first implementation of an OLED display for the rear screen. That's interesting. Which replaces what we normally have as the LCD screens. And it says this change could provide a significant advantage in extreme cold, where LCD screens, which are on liquid crystals, often slow down or even freeze entirely. And an OLED panel would offer better responsiveness and reliability overall. Now, my only thing with that is I get this thing that it's better in extreme cold. Okay, now that wouldn't really affect us. Okay, but yeah, there are going to be a lot of photographers out there that it will probably affect, which is why they're introducing it. However, to have an OLED screen on the back to say, wow, the screen quality is absolutely fantastic. Remember, you are only looking at the back of the images on the back of a screen. So if you're shooting, if you've got an R6 Mark III, you're not really reviewing your image on the back of the screen, are you? You're downloading those images and looking at those.
I guess for a quick look.
I mean, it's going to be better. It might be the colours might just look more, just more responsive and everything, and there might be a bit more detail. But I don't know. It's maybe that's the way it will all move towards
OLED.
It will all go OLED as well. That's right. Yeah, that will happen. Now, Nikon, we're not going to leave Nikon out. So
no, absolutely not.
Nikon have a Z9 firmware update. For those of you that have got the Nikon Z9, I like that, Zikon. So it says Nikon has recently released a new firmware update 5.1 for the Nikon Z9. And it says here, it does give you the list of updates. So people think, well, why should I update my firmware. I think most people don't. A lot of people have got no idea, and a lot of people think, well, why? What difference is it going to make? Now, I've gone through the list of things, and it says the changes from C firmware version from 5 to 5.10. The video recording, it says, is now high res zoom is now available when the image area is set to DX. They've added some more things into the custom set menus. They've added a shutter mode item and I'm just skimming through the controls. They've added a save and load power in zoom position, custom settings. You can now assign a power zoom. There's a whole list of things, other changes. Yeah, power zoom speed that they've done, the release mode. Now, all of these are very fine, sort of fine adjustments. And some people, they are going to probably, it looks like it's more video tweaks than anything else. But it's a good idea to update your firmware every now and again. You don't have to do it every time that there's a new firmware update. But anyway, so there's some rumors. Mark, you've got something new that's coming from ProPhoto.
Yeah, so it's just a quick one because I like my Studio Flash. So the ProPhoto introduces the new Pro B3. It's specifically for action photographers and sport photographers, really. It's got a quick refresh screen, so recycling times between 0.01 and 2.3 seconds. So that's a bit of a range there, but yeah. Flash durations as brief as 1/75,000th of a second. So it's great for freezing fast moving subjects. I think it's quite durable as well. I think it has a rubberized exterior and industrial grade components to endure harsh conditions. So this is probably more of a light that you take out on location. I can't imagine you need these all these features in a studio. And it's a lithium-ion battery, so it's a battery-operated one. It supports up to 250 full power flashes or 60 minutes of continuous LED light, providing sufficient power for extended shoots.
So hang on, so Mark, that's 250 full power flashes.
Yeah,
250. Is that a lot?
Well, on full power, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you would never. I mean, when you think about the photographers who are on location for the graduations, they'll never be on full power.
No, that's right. Yeah.
And even if you felt you were going to be, you'd hire your ISO. So that is quite fun. I mean, I don't have any battery lights. Mine are all mains. But you are paying more for battery powered lights. Yeah, you are at the moment. I think you are generally at the moment. I'm sure that will change at some point. And it's it's a sexy looking I was going to say camera. Then it's a sexy looking light unit. The ergonomics look really nice. It's got a nice back screen as well for ease of use there to look at what power you're on. But Cam, have you checked out the price for this?
Yes, I have. Yes, I'm staggered actually. Yeah. But then again, there are a lot of people that say, well, no, it's not a lot. It's just not. I'm not familiar with this range of lights. No, this is. Tell us how much it is, Mark.
It's £3,162.50, and that's excluding VAT. So you can add 20% on.
There is a.
Imagine if you're going to buy. There's a kit, is there?
Yeah, and the kit is the ProPhoto Pro B3 Duo kit, and that comes in at $6,250 plus VAT. Okay, it is out of stock.
Is it out of stock? Oh wow! Okay, so
yeah, that's right. It's probably not come in yet. That's probably why.
Yeah, but I think it's quite for a niche market as well. I mean, it's for specific. Excuse me. Maybe pet photographers will need it. Maybe designated pet photographers who solely sort of.
That's right. Yeah. What you get though is if you do buy it, you get the single light, you get a battery. You get a battery charger, you get a power cable, you get the Pro One light case and a protective cap. So that's pretty good. If you buy the Duo kit, obviously you're going to get 2 lights, 2 batteries, 2 battery chargers, 2 power cables, 1 duo kit case and 2 protective caps.
It's good that you get a case with it, because most of the time you don't get a case. But
no, you do get a case with it. That's right. Yeah. And if you're spending that much money, I think it's only right that you do get a case, because it should come in a dedicated case for protection and all of that as well. But so moving on to something that's probably a little bit more going to apply to everyone here, Mark.
Yeah.
About Adobe.
This has annoyed me.
I know, that's right. Yeah. It's going to annoy everyone. Adobe are at it again. First of all, they're trying to take work away from photographers, or allegedly, by saying to people, you don't need a professional photographer. You can just come and, use AI stuff. And,
anyway, so everyone, are we listening? So from January the 15th, 2025, Adobe photography plans will soon become up to 50% more expensive. So for those people who are certain plans, they are... so the Lightroom plan, which is a 1 terabyte plan, will increase by £2 in the UK, up to $11.99. The photography plan, and this is what a lot of people I think are on. I'm one of these people. It's set to increase to $14.99. Currently, it's about a tenner. Bundling Photoshop, CC, Lightroom, and Lightroom Classic. But more importantly, which I thought was quite telling, is this plan will no longer be available for new customers after January the 15th. So if you decide, oh no, that's too much for me, I'm going to get rid, and then go, actually, no, I want it back, you won't be able to. And then you got the photography plan. The 1 terabyte plan remains unchanged at £20 a month. Well, good job, really, because it's £20 a month. Adobe has clarified that changes only apply to its photography plans and do not affect the Creative Cloud, all apps, or single app plans. So it's just the photography plan. So again, it's another sort of targeting the photographers, I've noticed.
I mean, I've got the cloud, the Creative Cloud apps.
So you'll be all right.
So I'll be okay. So let's move on. But it does seem to be. I mean, they've got their reasons for it. I wonder why. Or how can they justify that much of an increase? Yes, they might say, well, it's cost things going up and all of that, but I don't know.
I mean, just want to say, but for current users, the price increase will not take effect immediately. Subscribers will continue to pay their current rates until the end of their billing cycle. For instance, a customer whose subscription renews on December 2025 will only see the new pricing applied then. So I think mine is in the summer. So I think that's when I'll be doing it. Adobe confirmed in a blog post existing photography 20 gigabyte subscribers can retain their plan, although it will no longer be available to new customers. Is that the one you're on? Yeah,
it is. Where it says the impact is this, when we're talking about it, it looks like you can only then get a standalone Lightroom plan, right? Or, you can't have both Photoshop and Lightroom, can you?
Yeah.
No, you have to buy them as separate plans. And it says this.
Not my plan. The plan I'm on, you get
for new customers.
Yeah, for new customers. So if you're listening to this and you haven't got a plan, get it now.
Get it now. Yeah. It says this change effectively removes an entry-level path for users looking to access Photoshop at a lower cost. And what are some people are going to do? They're going to start looking at alternatives, aren't they? It says, naturally, Adobe defends the price increase, highlighting that they bought photographers hundreds of innovative features in Lightroom and Photoshop without changing the price of our photography plans for over a decade. It says, today we're announcing an update to these plans to better reflect the value that the apps deliver, Adobe writes. It says, these plan updates come into effect for new subscribers on January the 15th, 2025, and will become effective for existing members only when your next plan renews. So it says, so you may choose to renew your subscription now if you're an existing user. This way you can lock it in for the current rate for another year. However, new subscribers will need to weigh the increased costs against the value offered. Is it really worth it? So reading a couple of comments on those, one of the comments is, that it says that this person is using Darktable now and saying it does take quite a bit of time getting used to. Darktable's retouching options are mediocre. This person's tried something else as well, like Photoline. The thing is when it comes to Photoshop and Lightroom, they are bloody good programs, right? They are blooming good. So you have to decide whether it's. There are other alternatives. There are free alternatives out there. If you're going to use it often enough, if you're a professional, then it's a no-brainer. You put it in as a business cost anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're just if you're a hobbyist and it's a lot of money, you think, I'm not paying the $20 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I see what they've done. I mean, Adobe's Photoshop's always been expensive, and back in the day when it was before the clouds and everything, I mean, the pirating of Adobe Photoshop was rife, wasn't it? I mean, there was
oh god, yeah,
many people who had a pirated version.
We all had it. We all had the disc. Oh, I got the disc. I didn't have it.
So they brought in this cloud system to make it more affordable for people, and you get the updates. And I think that must have reduced the amount of people pirating. It must have done. And now I'm guessing because they've got this safer sort of system, they're going to raise the prices to where they feel that it should be. I don't know how we pirate it now. I'm not looking to pirate it, by the way. I'm just wondering if this is going to affect that area, and whether, Adobe might lose money in the long run because of pirating or not. I don't know. I don't know. It's probably more difficult to pirate these days. Being a cloud system, and you wouldn't get the updates like you do when you buy legit. But it is a wonder. It's one of those things, though. It's like a lot of things, I guess. When you're tied into a subscription product, they can rise the prices, and there's not much you can do about it. The only silver lining I see on it, and it might be a bit of an elitist comment. I don't know if it's a silver lining or not, actually. But, lots of people use Photoshop. I mean, I have friends who aren't professional photographers that use Photoshop. And I guess raising the price will stop those people from using Photoshop. And it's really only back to the professionals again, which is what it was supposed to be. So it may stop people undercutting the professional photographer, if you get me. Yeah,
that's right. So
someone who can do a bit of Photoshop might try to undercut you on a job or something like that. Well, with these hiked prices, they may think, well, I ain't paying for that. And that might level the playing field in that respect a little bit. But that's the only sort of silver lining-ish I can see on this. Things are going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, we're going to grab a drink and then we're going to talk about photography in the cold weather.
Yes. Well done.
Right, Mark. Again, we are winter and we're going to go into a colder period of weather. And a lot of people, again, they've got new cameras, new lenses for Christmas, new equipment, wanting to go out there and use it, or they've already got great cameras and they want to go out and shoot. But what's putting them off is the cold weather.
Yeah.
It's a bit damp. Oh, my camera might get a little bit cold, or it might get a little bit wet. It might get some raindrops on it, and so I don't want to damage my camera. And but I'm going to have to put my gloves on and stuff like that, whatever. Well, winter and cold weather is some of the best time. Well, any time of year is great to go out and shoot in. You've got to take advantage of whatever the conditions are, cold, hot, whatever. It doesn't really matter, wet, whatever. But specifically talking about cold weather. And shooting photos out in the cold weather. And our cameras shouldn't just be put away to bring out when the sun's out and when the warmer weather comes in. Oh, I know, I'll take my camera out because the sun's out. It's, get your cameras out there and use them in all weather conditions. So what tips and advice do we have for going out shooting in cold weather and to get the best images, would you say?
Well, I guess we're really talking about nice, icy cold rather than rainy cold, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, anything really. It's just getting out there, isn't it? But yes, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, when it snows, I do try and go out with my camera because it doesn't snow that often here, does it? So, no. In the scheme of things, so I think it's always good to go out and and get it. I have to say, if it's bitterly cold and rainy and stormy, I will not be going out because that's it's just not for me. I don't think the pictures are that great. Some people love them, but I'm not a fan. So it's not something that I particularly would go out. But when it's snowing, I'll definitely go out because we don't see it very often, and it's great to get. So yeah, I mean, I guess first off, you need to make sure you got the right equipment, both clothing wise and camera wise. Make sure you're wrapped up right. Make sure you got decent footwear because it will be icy. You don't want to slip over, break your back, and possibly your camera. So make sure that you can get gloves now. I think because we were looking at an article from F-Stoppers, weren't we? That kind of sort of inspired us to talk about this. I mean, I've got some gloves. They're from Animal, which means they're animal gloves, but I can use LCD screens with them. So that's always useful, especially now because a lot of cameras have touchscreen LCDs on the back. The article does mention here ProMaster gloves. I've not used those, but apparently they're really good. So that's worth checking out. So that's the first thing I'd say. Make sure you're equipped properly, not just camera wise, but also footwear and clothing. Get your thermals on, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think that's what stops a lot of people going out, because they don't think about, getting ready to go out and having the right shoes, the right gloves, and just keep him warm. Because I took the dog out for a walk yesterday, and it's really windy and blowy. But I had a hat on, I had a coat on, and I was layered up, and it was really nice actually. It's nice to get out and sort of feel that sort of cold air, but I was still really warm. And you know what it's like when you go out and shoot. Imagine winter weddings. Done it over the years, and you just need to be warm. And I've got my thermals, and I'll put them on. I don't care, right? You said to somebody, I've got thermals on. But you've got to put stuff like that on to be prepared. Yeah. Now, when it comes to your camera, you've just spoken about gloves, but obviously, you want to be able to use your camera easily. It is difficult to use cameras with certain gloves, unless you've got like the gloves that you were saying that touch sensitive and that type of thing, that are quite thin, but are still quite warm. So in those conditions is try and make your camera as easy to use as possible. So my suggestion there would be, just if you don't want to fiddle about with things, for ease, put your camera into program mode, take it off manual shutter or whatever, okay, or aperture priority. If you just want to go out and be 100% sure of getting great pictures, just put it into program mode. Concentrate more on your composition, because your camera doesn't do that for you. And because if your hands are shaking and they are cold and you keep fiddling about and you're likely to drop something and all of that, then you want to make your camera as easy to use as possible. If, on the other hand, you want to use shutter speed, you want to use manual, you want to use aperture priority, you want to try and get that much more creative, and then fine, then do that. But that's not the only option, and program mode is there as a handy mode to be able to use. So you do have that program mode option. It's there, and it is there for a reason. And you can use the exposure compensation button on that as well. So
I was just about to say, one of the problems with, I would use manual anyway. There's not a chance in hell I'll go out and use program. Sorry, Cam, I disagree with that one. But it depends on where you're at and what you want to do, I guess.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's right, yeah.
But what I would say is, the things you have to watch with things like program mode is that they always meter. The cameras always meter for, the thing is zone 7, isn't it? Medium grey.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Basically, if you're taking a picture of a snow scene, it's going to grey out your snow. So you do need to use that, like Cam just said there, the exposure compensation. So I mean, I guess it depends on the scene that you're going on. I mean, the article we're reading from F-Stoppers, they probably said increasing your compensation by plus 0.3 EV or between 0.3 and 0.7 EV, which allows that from your snow becoming like grey to the white. But be careful, because it does depend on the exposure that you're in and the EV levels that you've got, because basically what you're looking for is white with a little bit of detail. That's what you want. Not a grey mess, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and the exposure compensation, for those of you that don't know, it's you'll find it on your camera. You'll find it on your camera. It should be on your body. You look for the little plus and minus sign.
Yeah.
Now that might be a sign for something else, but usually for exposure compensation, you press a button and turn that dial at the same time. And I've used it many times over the years. Since I moved mirrorless, it's really been manual all the time. But before I was on mirrorless, I would use a mix of manual program. No, I would use mainly, I guess, when I was working quickly, shutter priority, aperture priority, or program. If I was working very quickly, I wouldn't use manual, not when I was using DSLR. When I had time and there were certain specific shoots, I would go into manual. Once I moved to mirrorless, then I'd shoot everything on in manual mode. However, again, if I just wanted to go out and take some pictures in the snow and thought it looks great, but it's freezing cold. I don't want to mess around with anything. I wouldn't have a problem putting it on program and using the exposure value. And if you've not used the exposure value before, have a look at your camera, figure out where it is, and put your camera into program mode. Make sure that exposure value is set to 0. Take a picture at 0 and then take the same picture at -1, -2, -3. Some go up to -4, up to -5, even 7. And then go to +1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and see what it does to your images. So you get an idea of that, because that's really worth sort of using. I know in cameras you can do things like you can change your images to black and white. You can change the picture profile from standard to flat to vivid to all of that. I would never do that, right? Yeah. Is just leave your camera set to get the best sort of images in the first place, and then do everything in post processing where you can change your images to black and white, put your saturation and your contrast in afterwards as well. So going out, in other words, what I'm saying is, if you're going out with your camera in the winter and it's difficult to use, is don't make it difficult to use. Try and simplify your camera so that it doesn't become like it's cumbersome, basically. And watch those batteries as well. Make sure that your batteries are fully charged and you've got a spare, because your batteries will get cold. Last thing you want to do is go out and then find that your batteries died very quickly, or your battery wasn't charged up, and that's your own fault.
Yeah. But I mean, also a little tip here as well. You want to keep the batteries as warm as possible, because the cold does drain your charge more so than if you're at like a normal temperature. So, keep them inside your jacket pocket, or put them in your trouser pocket. So your body warmth is keeping them warm, and that'll keep their charge a lot better. So that'll be something to do there as well, I'd suggest. Another thing, I guess, about looking at, this is when you're going out and taking pictures, say in a snowy scene or something like that. There's a couple of things you need to watch out for, really. So things like condensation. I'm sure we've all seen it. I wear glasses, so if I go from a really warm interior to a cold exterior, my glasses will start steaming up, and vice versa. That happens with lenses. I'm sure you've all seen it. But of course, it also happens inside cameras as well.
It's frustrating.
So you have to be careful with that, because moisture can kill your camera, or at least disable it for a bit. And I've not actually tried this because I've never seen it as much of an issue, but a lot of people say put your camera in a plastic bag or a container whilst you're in the warm, whilst you're inside, and when you go out, it reduces the condensation, apparently. I've not tried that myself, but apparently that's a thing. So you're still going to get some, but just not as much. So
and remember that, I think the last thing I want to say on it, remember your cameras are hardy. They're built. Even the cheapest cameras are quite sort of, they're hardened to the weather. Cold is a little bit different condensation, but I'm talking about rain. I'm talking about, just being able to use it in all conditions. Cameras aren't just made to use in nice weather. So
maybe the cameras we use, Cam, I don't know. Some of the cheap ones in the market I wouldn't have out in the rainstorm.
I don't know. Honest. There are some that you'd be. I always think cameras are tougher than you think. I really do. And people can be overly precious with them. Fine. When you get back, dry it off, wipe it off. It's not going to ruin it. You're not going to get water in your camera, and not unless it's absolutely chucking it down with rain and you just left it there. Then use your common sense. But so get out there and use your cameras.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things post-processing. Add a bit of, you can add a bit of contrast to your pictures afterwards. Also, again, you can look at the details and stuff. As I say, you do want, if you're doing white snow, you do want that little bit of moisture in there. And that's basically it. I would try and keep the picture as normal as possible in camera, and if you want to do anything extra to it, do that in post, like Cam was saying earlier.
There's one thing actually, it's just reminded me of that, Mark. One system that you might consider. A lot of people might notice that when they go out and take photos in the extreme cold, or just cold, and particularly when you've got snow, you shoot a picture and it has a real blue cast to it. Now that blue cast can be corrected in post-processing. However, that's really got to do with your white balance setting. So remember, color has changes in temperature throughout the year. So when it gets to and it's measured in kelvins. So when you are at sort of the colder time of year, the color temperature of light gives a blue cast that we can't see with our naked eye. And then when you get to spring, it starts to warm up a little bit. It starts to introduce those sort of yellows. And then once you get an oranges, and once you get into summer, then it's your reds, oranges, yellows. So you get all these color casts in your images at different times of the year. So you take a picture and it looks really blue in the snow and you're wondering why, but it's basically your white balance that needs adjusting. So I'm sure some of you have seen it when you take a picture and they're very yellow, and that's all. And sometimes, and that's indoors as well. You'll see that yellow cast. It's because it's the color temperature of the light. And remember, cameras are far more sensitive to the color of light than our eyes. Our eyes don't see that light, not unless you really think about it and are very, very aware of it. But it stands to reason, really. Things are blue in the winter, and orange, red, and orange, red, yellow as we go from spring through to summer. And that warms up, and then it cools back down again as we get to autumn. Those rich colours. So, right, Mark, just the last thing to do, if you could do the honours.
Certainly. So just want patrons to say a big, big thank you to our patrons. So that's a big thank you to Frank Case, Amira Zainab, Carl Sherville, Rob Percy, Craig Chuck, and Emily Brown. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, guys. And we will see you soon.